Welcome, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the topic array. The topic will be useful for the students of BCA first semester as well as BSc Computer Science minor and major. So let us first go to the definition of array. What is array? Array is basically a collection, or we can say it is a set of elements. So for example, we can take roll number of 50 students can be stored together, or it can be any number of elements. But we cannot store, and one more important point is that the collection should be of similar type. That means if one data is a number, then all the data should be a number. That means roll number of 50 students can be stored together, but roll number and number name cannot be stored because roll number is basically a number and name is a character. In array, the second most important point is that the data is stored in contiguous memory location. That means in memory, if you are storing 50 roll number of 50 students, then it will occupy 100 bytes of memory in consecutive order. Now, next part is declaration of array. How to declare a array? So while declaring an array, the most important points are the data type, the name of the array, and the size. Data type is predefined, array name is customized, and size should be fixed. That means whenever you are declaring an array, you can give your own name of the array. And data type can be different like integer, character. Okay. The first important point is the size should be fixed and cannot be altered later. That means if we are creating an array of size 10, that means we can store only 10 data. Later, if we require more data, we cannot store more than 10. The maximum number of data can be stored is 10. Second important point is that the size cannot be blank. If the size is blank, then it should be initialized with some predefined values. So let us take some example. This is one example. Float A is equal to 11.59 minus 6.23, 0.55. That means we have declared an array. The name of the array is A and the data type is float. That means you can store different real numbers into the array. Now what is the size? The size part is blank, but we have initialized three values. That means the size will be automatically taken as 3. So that is why I have written the points. A is an array of size 3 which contains 3 values. And the individual elements can be accessed by using a serial number. That particular serial number is known as index. The 3 values, the first one will have the index 0, second one will have index 1, third one will have index 2. So the 3 individual elements can be retrieved as A0, A1 and A2. Let us take another example. Float num 10. That means num is an array of size 10 which can store maximum 10 different real numbers. But till now we have not stored any numbers, any values into the array. The array has been declared, the array has been reserved, but there is no data. But if I compare the first example, the size was not specified, but we have stored some data into the array. Now, this is the concept of index in an array. Float num 10, that means we have reserved 10 consecutive location. The first element will have index 0, second one will have index 1, and the last one will have 9. Because the size is 10, the index will start from 0 and it will go to 9. So we can say the first element will be known as num0, second element is num1, and so on it will go, and the last element will be num9. Now, how to store data in an array? There are two methods of storing data in an array. One is assignment, other one is user input. Assignment means we have given some fixed value to the array, but user input means providing some data from the keyboard. So let us know how to assign data into an array. So one example is like num0 equal to 5.75. That means what will happen? 5.75 will be stored into the first location of the array. Okay, initially the array was empty. There was no data into the array. After executing num0 equal to 5.75, 5.75 has been stored into the first location of the array at index 0. Let us store one more data, num1 equal to 9.25. That will be stored into the next location. That means because we have provided the index 1, so 9.25 will be stored in num1. Now we have written another statement, num2 is equal to num0 plus num1. What will happen to this? In the right hand side of the equal sign, the value of num0 and num1 will be added. The value of num0 was 5.75 and num1 is 9.25. Their sum is 15, but it will be considered as 15.00 because that is a real number, and 15.00 will be stored in num2. These are the different examples of assignment. Above assignment, we can use some input function to store data in an array. Suppose we want to store roll number of 50 students. That means we have to use 50 input statement, and writing 50 input statement is not a logical work. So instead of that, we can use a loop along with a input function. So while using array input, we can use two concepts. One is a input function and the other one is a loop. So in the next class, we will discuss about how to input data in an array, how to display the elements of an array, how to process the different elements of an array, and different types of array. Thanks.